Episode 1019, When Temptation Haunts You.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Staring at a stop sign, watching people drive by.
Happy day. It is Wellness Wednesday, and I hope you are ready to get your health on. We're going to be talking about nutrition and when temptation haunts you. It is almost Halloween, so we got to talk about sweets, right? For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already haven't had the opportunity, you'll want to head on over to createyournow.com, where you can learn more and sign up for the K.I.S.S newsletter, the Keep It Simple Strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, if we don't have our health, we don't have our wealth, because our health makes us wealthy. If we're not healthy, we can't live out our purpose that God has given us. And so in thinking about Halloween that's coming up, I know I don't celebrate Halloween. We've never done it with the kids. However, it's something that a lot of people do. I'm not here to strike judgment accordingly, but what I do want to point out is how you can sit here and begin to really envelop what you want with your goals in your wellness and where you want your health to go and still enjoy the holiday season, because this is just the kickoff. When temptation haunts you, the easiest escape is to indulge and let the fears melt away. With Halloween around the corner, it's the kickoff to the season of temptations. Everyone handles temptation differently. The greater the vice, the harder to resist. So you really need to have a strategy in place when temptation haunts you. First off, you must acknowledge your temptation. Maybe that's calling your temptation out like, aha, I got you. We need to do that. I know for me, I used to make excuses for my temptations. Like, oh, well, grandma's chocolate, scrumptious 3-layer cake. I'm never going to have that again because we only get together like once or twice or 3 times a year. Well, then I'm never going to have it again. I'm going to have it once or twice or 3 times a year. That doesn't mean it's just a one-time thing, but it was an excuse I would use, and I would wrap myself up in it and say like, oh, you know what? If I'm never going to have it again, I've got to have 1, 2, 3, or even 4 pieces. But when I became very specific, it made me aware and made me ready for battle. Because your temptation, you're going in the battlefield with those. And you don't want your temptations to haunt you. Because what happens at the end of the day, you lay down in bed and it goes, ooh, you ate me. Ooh, I got you this time. It's like Casper the ghost. And he's not the good Casper. He keeps hanging out with you. Don't keep hanging out with the bad ghosts. Don't let your excuses and your temptations continue to haunt you. Don't dance around with what tempts you. When that happens, the temptation is leading. Be bold and name it. That's what you really need to be doing. You don't want to be dancing with the stars. That's what happens with temptation, right? You're putting them on the pedestal. They win. You're not going to let them win anymore. Be bold and name it. Once you have called out your temptation, you named it, then and only then you can set up the strategy. And that is your K.I.S.S, the Keep It Simple strategy. Bask in the dews and turn up the heat. It's a double kiss today. Oh, you didn't know you were going to have all these kisses to kick off the season of temptations. It's awesome, isn't it? Okay, well, let's dive deep. And let's go into the bask part. Bask is what you revel in, right? It's what you make the most of something. It's when you focus on the don'ts that get you tripped up. And no one needs to be tripping when dressed in a costume or celebrating with family and friends. I know I don't need to be tripping up. I make enough mistakes. And so if I can limit those and not consider it as a limiting factor in my brain, and I think more of the do's than the don'ts, it's success. And we all want success. Because think about a child, right? You tell the child, don't go play in your sister's room. And what happens? Off they go to play in their sister's room. I mean, we're just talking seconds later. It's the temptation, the curiosity. We can't have it. We want it more. So you have to bask in the dews when temptation haunts you. This is where you begin to set up your strategy, your structure of your strategy. And there's 3 things to this. Number 1, What do you want as the end result? Now, did I ask you really what your goal is? Not exactly, because that word goal gets us tripped up. And we already trip enough over our don'ts, so let's not get tripped up over other words. Just think about what's your end result here. What do you want to be? Do you want to keep on track of healthy living? Maybe you've dropped 30 pounds and you're like, I just got to keep going because I know if I taste 1, 2, or 3 things, I'm going off the deep end. I've done it before 3 or 4 times. I can't do it now. I've got 15 more pounds to lose, and that's my focus. So maybe that's your end result. Maybe your end result is, I want to have a treat or two. It is something we gather together, and it's not a big deal. I can manage my weight. I'm managing my health. It's great. Or maybe you want both. You want to stay healthy, but you still want to treat yourself. So you've got to know your end result. Number 2, once when you know your end result, you can work backwards to what serves your end result. Okay? And that's important. You got to work backwards on this. So, once when you know your end result, you can take that and say, okay, that means I can start here, and then I move to here, and then I move to here. And then what happens? You got your plan. Number 3, you got to commit to your plan. So you got to bask in the do's. This is what I want. This is where I'm headed. You're not saying this is where I'm not going. Nobody wants to, live their life in a detour if they can just have green lights all the time. Think about it, right? Wouldn't it be easier driving to work if you only had green lights all the way? You'd get there, so much faster. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to fast track your health and your wellness. And you do that by basking in the do's. Now, once when you got that, guess what? It's time to turn up the heat. That's your second kiss. You didn't know you were going to have all these kisses today. So much love to give you on Wellness Wednesday. So you got to turn up the heat. Now, HEAT stands for something. Are you ready for this? Hydrate, eat, activate, treat. It's a fun thing to say, right? Hydrate, heat, activate, treat. I feel like we should come up with a little cheer. If you got time to come up with a cheer, send it to me. I'd love to hear it. Okay, but let's backtrack for just a minute. You want to turn up the heat. Well, you first have to do what? Bask in the do's. You got to know what that end result is. And your goal here for you to conquer either Halloween or Thanksgiving, whatever holiday is up and coming, is to stay healthy driven in a sweet world. Now, doesn't that sound better than I can't have candy, I can't have that chocolate cake, I got to stay away from the pumpkin pie, oh, that apple a la mode is looking mighty scrumptious, or it may even be macaroni and cheese. That can be your sweet treat. I know it's not sweet, but it's something that you long for. So think about it as stay healthy driven in a sweet world. And if you need to, write that down on a Post-it. Put it where you go, to the bathroom, put it on your mirror, and then put it in your car. Those 3 places alone, better yet, put it on your refrigerator too. If you're hosting the parties, the gatherings, put up something fun. And you don't have to explain it, just put something fun. And that sounds so much, better than saying, don't eat the candy, girlfriend. I'm telling you, you eat that candy, where is it going to go? To those hips. We don't want it to go from the lips to the hips. It's not real good. That doesn't sound good. Doesn't make you feel good. And it kind of puts the pie in the face. So you don't want to do that, right? It's the don'ts. You want to focus on the do's, and you want to turn up the heat. So think of your goal as stay healthy driven in a sweet world. And then let's break it down into your 4, the heat. Number 1, hydrate. You want that hydrate. Why? Because when you hydrate throughout the day, water becomes your secret weapon. Most of our hunger comes from dehydration. We think we're hungry, but if we would drink actual 8 to 12 to 16 ounces of fluid, we would find out that I really wasn't as hungry as what I really thought I was. My body's just screaming that it's thirsty. Not thirsty for nutrition, but thirsty for hydration. So hydrate. Number 2, eat. Eat on a schedule. Now, I know you're probably thinking, my life isn't on a schedule, and now you want me to eat on a schedule? Yes, because this helps to manage your hunger. These gatherings that you have, The Halloween, if you're going trick-or-treating with your kiddos, and I love it, I remember doing that. We didn't do it a lot when they were young. We kind of waited till they got a little bit older, and they would go out. But most of the time, we would go to our church, and we would have functions that way. And so we didn't do the typical trick-or-treating because most of the time where we lived, we didn't have neighborhoods. We didn't live in neighborhoods that did that. We had to drive, and we weren't ones that really wanted to impose ourselves on other people's neighborhoods. So we kind of had our own parties at our home. And so if you're hosting, the party, it's really important that you eat on a schedule. And if you're not hosting the party, it's even more important. Why? Because this is not the time to skip a meal in the morning. And then, afternoon comes and you're like, oh, I got caught talking at the water cooler with, my friends at work. And man, now 2, 3 o'clock comes around and I am famished. And you go and you're like, I'm just grabbing anything I can get my hands on. If you're at home and you do the same thing because the baby got you up and, your neighbor came over, you got a phone call, one thing led to the next, 6 hours later, you're like, I haven't eaten anything all day. I'm starving. And really, you're not starving. Your body is just saying, I haven't gotten enough nutrients today. What are you going to feed me? How are you going to take care of me? Yet, if you eat on a schedule and you plan it out and you're diligent with it, that means what? You are managing your hunger. And then you don't have to worry about Casper the bad ghost coming up and going, ooh, I'm going to get you, because you've already taken care of him. So, hydrate, eat. Number 3, activate. Activate your muscles. This is your intentional movement. This is the day that you cannot not work out. Yes, I did a double negative there. You got to work out. This is the time. Why? Why do I say workout? Why do I say intentional movement? And that may mean just walking. And that's great. Make sure you get your 10,000 steps in that day. And if you're like, well, what's 10,000 steps? It's basically equal to 5 miles on average. Okay? So if you're like, whew, that sounds like a lot. No, it's not. I'm sure most of us now have something that measures our steps. If you're curious, get a very cheap pedometer or find an app on the phone that's free. Almost all of us have an app on our phone or have a cell phone. Find an app, turn it on one day. Yes, it's going to drain your battery, but your health is worth it. And figure out how much you normally walk. And you'll find out. Believe it or not, you may think you're walking more than what you actually are. So make sure when you are dying for this whole idea of, I got to have my sweets and I want to do this, in order to combat that, you've got to make sure you activate your muscles, your intentional movement. Because when you do that, what happens when you work out? What happens when you run or when you walk? Oh, yeah. It's the feel-good endorphins. It's like, yes, it's a natural high. And I love natural highs. It just makes you feel, woohoo, it's a happy Casper. And we like happy Casper ghosts. They can haunt him, us all the time. Come on, Casper, join the party. And you feel good. And when you feel good, what happens? You make great decisions. And when you make great decisions, your awesomeness shines. And you're like, I can conquer the world. And guess what? The stay healthy, driven in a sweet world, you're winning it. You're crushing it. So hydrate, eat, activate, and number 4, treat. Treat yourself. You're like, yes, you finally told me I could have something. I didn't tell you couldn't have something, right? We're talking about the do's here. Treat yourself. And I want to leave you with this thought on treating yourself. I want you to think about the 3-bite rule. The 3-bite rule is really to savor. And like, oh, this tastes so good. Oh, yum, 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 yum. Kind of like that kitty cat. Have you ever watched that kitty cat commercial? I don't even know what brand it is, but it's this adorable little kitty cat. And it finally gets whatever the cat food that they're feeding it. And it sits there and goes, that's kind of what your inside of your brain is saying, right? That area that fires up when it's like, whoo, I got something I want. It's a reward. It's awesome. Yes, it's awesome. But you only need 3 bites to have that awesome feel. After that, no. I'll give you 1 bonus bite, though. You can have 4. At most, 5, and you're done. Anything after that, if you're doing 11 to 12 bites, seriously, think about that. And think about how big your bites are. You do that in one setting and then you're like, oh, but I'm going to add this one here and this one here. You're tripling what you really should be having. And your goal, what your focus is, your end result is to what? Stay healthy driven in a sweet world. So give yourself the 3 bites with maybe a bonus. And then guess what? You can have another 3 bites of something and a bonus. So I want you to hydrate. I want you to eat. I want you to activate. I want you to treat. Now, yes, that is your K.I.S.S, the Keep It Simple strategy. And it is simple, but you have to put it into action. So I want you to take this and I want you to think about, how can I apply it to my life? Because that's what we do here at Create Your Now. We give you a strategy, and then you take that strategy and you got to do the work. If you don't do the work, then nothing's going to get done. And it's important for you to do the work. Maybe you want help with doing the work. Maybe it has nothing to do with even holidays coming around or Halloween. But you know that you need help with your nutrition or your wellness or wherever it is in your life. Click on the link, Take Aim in the show notes. I have a free gift for you. It's a coaching call with me. You get to talk to me, and we can talk specifically about your needs, your wants, your goals. We can bask in your dues, okay? Let's figure that out, what that looks like, lay out that strategy, and then we can be specific on your H.E.A.T. What does that really look like? I mean, wouldn't it be cool? You're like, I need to do that. I don't hydrate as much, so how can I get what I need to get in for my body? What are some ways, some techniques? Or how can I make sure I'm eating the right foods? I get it, but I just don't stay on track. So can you give me some tools in the kitchen to make this work for me? Okay, that's what I'm here for. So click on the link. That will begin our conversation. We'll get you set up for a call, and we will have a chat, and it'll be awesome. You'll gain some strategies and tools to set you on the path to where you want to go. Bask in the dews and turn up the heat. It's time. Because when temptation haunts you, that's the last thing you want to do, right? You don't want to be stuck in there and going, oh my gosh, I can't do this any longer. No, it's time to turn up the heat. Go out there and make it an absolutely incredible day. Be present, be incredible, be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life, and love your journey? Visit CreateYourNow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.